Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a whole new episode of Full Steam Ahead. I'm your host, Zoe, with my partner on crime on the other side, Kent, too. What a series this is against the Toronto Blue Jays. What do you think of it?
Yeah, it was a complete turnaround for the Astros. Their starting pitching, you know, we saw how great it was in both series, but the offense really came to life on this one. Um, Bullpen wasn't really needed, only in that first game, and you saw what happened. So there's still some question marks there, but overall, really great series. The Astros did take the series win, which was crucial because, as everybody knows, because a lot of people were panicking already. They dropped the series against the Yankees, so it was a really big series win.
Yeah, after that sweep, the Astros needed to get something going. And sure enough, they did that in the first game. The second game, it just it's one of them things that you just leave a hanging slider right down,
Yeah,
up in the middle of the plate, and someone's gonna do some damage. And sure enough, he did. So this could have been a potential sweep for them, but obviously it's better to get the winning series out the way. And I guess you could carry that momentum on, especially Jordan Alvarez. My gosh, have a day at the plate, big man. So I think carrying that momentum on to Arlington, that's going to be very beneficial for the Astros. We'll give you that pitching preview here in a minute. We're going to title this episode 168 Power Arms and Power Surge because starting pitching, dude, man, it's been really remarkable for the Astros in the beginning of this season. And then, not to mention 10 Boombas in this
yeah.
series against the Blue Jays. So the ball was flying out of Minute Maid Park to the Crawford boxes, to the right side, to the bullpen, even to visit a little bit of Bobby Dynamite up there at the train track. So before we get started, Angel, what do you got to say?
Now you know where to follow us. The ticker's down there. Wherever you're on social media, where you are there, wherever you get your podcast, you can hear us from there. But I did want to say something as well. The Astros could easily been like I'm close to undefeated. Honestly, every game they've played has been winnable, and it's just I feel like it's the early season, so there's no time to panic. I think once they start getting all their ticks in out the way, it's a good ball club.
Yeah, we talked about it too. This team is kind of a slow beginning team when it comes to the early part of the season. They're not going to just rapidly go undefeated in the beginning. They're not going to be 7-1. If you look past in the last 7 games of each season, they've had quite a losing record around like 2-5, 2-8, 3-6, something like that. That's going to be a losing record. So there's nothing to panic about. It's just early part of the season. People are still trying to get back in the mix. Just like Jordan Alvarez. Jordan
Yeah,
was hitting like a buck 80, buck 30 um, prior to this series. And now in this last game, shoot, 4 for 4. So, and things like that just change in a minute. But let's start off with a recap of this series and let's talk about the home runs that we're talking about. 10 home runs total of this series for the Astros. Kyle Tucker, 2. Yainer Diaz, 2. Jose Altuve, 2. Jeremy Pena, 2. And then Jordan Alvarez capitalizing that last game of the homestand with 2 of his own. So the big man did finish 4 for 4 with 2 home runs, 3 RBIs, needed a triple for the cycle. And not just that, that second home run, did you see what it calculated to be?
I think it was about 400. I know it was over 400 feet. Talk to me.
444 feet. What,
Nice.
4 for 4? 44 is his number. Fours were going all around for the big man today.
Absolutely. And, you know, as you read that list, it's some pretty impressive stuff, especially since 3 of those players hit multi home run games. Kyle Tucker, and Yanni Diaz had a multi home run game, and Jordan Alvarez, as you saw today, had a multi home run game. But it was a great offensive performance all around from this club. And I mean, you kind of got a glimpse of it against New York, and now with, I guess kudos to them for that. Brilliant relief pitching and starting pitching they had, because you can see when the Astros take advantage of pitching, it can get real ugly.
Yeah, I'm looking at Jeremy Pena's stats right now. He already has 2 home runs in the season. Last year he had 10, and in 2022 he had 22 home runs. So seeing him being able to find the power and hitting the ball, out of the not really out of the stadium, but into the stands, into the community leader signs over there in left center. It's very optimistic to see him being able to get that power back and being able to fix that swing over the offseason. Of course, that's what they were trying to focus on, trying to get him to lift the ball. And sure enough, this game right here just kind of showed he had 2 home runs in this series against the Blue Jays, and there's probably more to come later in the season for La Tormenta. That's what they call him, correct? Brushing up on that Spanish. But next up on this series, Ronel Blanco, man, have a day, have a night,
Have a week.
week.
Oh, my bad. I'm
Exactly.
sorry. My bad.
Nah, you right on time. I mean, Ronel Blanco, what a remarkable story. Angel, I mean, kudos to you. You wrote a great story on Ronel
Appreciate
Blanco's
that.
no
Appreciate that.
hitter, but Blanco having that 17 no hitter, dude, the most in the majors the Astros have. They lead in majors with 17 no hitters since 1962 when they were established as a franchise. This was Ronel Blanco's eighth career start, and your eighth career start is throwing a no hitter. That's pretty damn good. Make some history into this list. He's the first MLB pitcher to throw a no hitter early on in the season in MLB history. And the stat line for that game: 9 innings pitched, 0 hits, 0 earned runs, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts. Angel, I gotta tell you, man, El Cambio was working for this guy.
Oh
The
yeah,
changeup
absolutely.
was majestic. What about you? I mean, because he wrote a great article about it. You've had a lot of dive deep into this, into his stat. What did you think about his performance?
It was great. It was great, and I think he had a little bit of extra motivation, especially since he became a father for the second time just a week ago. I think everybody knows that story. Had on Tuesday before opening day, he had to go to the hospital early in the morning, and then pitched. I would say the second game of his life, right, in the exhibition game against Space Cowboys, holding 10 strikeouts. But his mom was there. His eldest daughter was there. It was a great outing. He even admitted he was uh once he started realizing it, he did get a little bit nervous, but was able to control those nerves. But the changeup is a pitch he's been working all spring, and um it's a pitch he wanted to perfect, especially to go to complement his fastball already. So and you can see that hard work paying off for them, because even Yanni Diaz said since he saw it in spring, every time he would call it, it would be spot on that. So that changeup is something he's been working on, and you saw that performance. You saw how the hard work paying off there.
I mean, it was just a remarkable performance for him. Just a great story overall. The team was excited for him. I mean, your number
Yeah,
five starter going out there and being able to pitch a gem like that with a depleted bullpen to remind you. I
yeah.
mean, it was just remarkable all around from him being able to do that and keeping that bullpen intact.
And I know you're gonna mention it like a little bit. So the starts that Javier, Framber, and Ronel Blanco put, like you said, it was already depleted bullpen. That is huge leading into this intense series that is going to be in Arlington. That that fans are going to be rowdy. Especially. I mean, I don't know how big of an impact it would be, but made on hitting three Rangers in that game. Obviously
Oh yeah.
two completely different teams, but he was with the Astros last year. I don't know if that will set off a little tick in there. Maybe some. I mean, I don't think so, but you never know how they'll react. When the Astros come in, but it's always an intense season with the Astros, and I think even though the Rangers did get the last laugh at the end and they win the World Series, I'm sure they're still a little salty about not winning the division as well. So interesting series.
Yeah, I mean, like you were saying, with Phil Maton pitching to Adolis Garcia, hit him on the hand too.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't really happy about it. Same thing as Josh Jung. As soon as Jung got hit, I mean, he went right to the dugout because he knew something was going on. So, but we'll give some news on Josh Jung's update on him with his history. Joshua on the line. Hey guys, he's talking about Pena's off to a promising start. Then last but not least, that no hitter was incredible. Blanco literally pitched the game of his life. I think so. That is probably one of the games he's going to remember forever. I think we've talked about Yainer Diaz being able to do something like that too, command him during that time and being able to catch that. I think that was remarkable. Jose Abreu, the defense all around from Abreu to Mauricio Dubon making plays. Pretty remarkable being able to keep that no hitter intact.
Yeah, and
So
then Lorenzo and I put in some work over the week, so go out and read those stories. And like what they first shout out for Ronel Blanco, but Lorenzo wrote a great story on Yanni Diaz as well on the other end of that no hitter. So go check that out.
yeah, we'll talk about Yainer in a minute because that guy is on a tear offensively. But next up on the list, we got Framber Valdez. La Grasa finally had a good start to the season on the second game against the Blue Jays. 7 2/3 of an inning, 6 hits, 5 strikeouts, no walks. That was the biggest thing we talked about in the last, the
Mhm.
pitching preview for the Toronto game was being able to control his command and not being able to walk anybody. If you're gonna walk somebody, maybe do it to a minimum to like one or two. Well, Framber Valdez said, "Hold up, I ain't walking nobody this time." So fabulous outing from him. 0 earned runs with a 2.19 ERA. He finished out the game. It was unfortunate though that that game was erased with a blown save from Josh Hader, which Josh Hader right now, dude, is not what I think everybody would start if you're an Astros fan and just in baseball in general. This guy was one of the most highly talked about relief pitchers in the game, one of the best closers in the game in the free agent market this offseason. And right now, Hader has an 0-2 record and has blown his first save of the season. He did walk Justin Turner. Well, first off, and if we break down that inning, he did give up a hit to Vladimir Guerrero, but induced a ground ball to Bo Bichette, getting a double play. Next up comes Justin Turner. He walks him. And then, like I was saying, he left a hanging slider right down the middle of the play to a guy named Davis Schneider. Davis Schneider. Yeah, he rocked that ball to left center. I think it was pretty close to the home run pump over there, too, I want to say. But he got all of it. Just things like that are going to happen. But I did kind of talk to Angel on the side and was like, maybe you could have went on that righty. If you maybe you could have gone with Ryan Presley, but I did understand your standpoint of because you pay the guy the big bucks, you expect him to get this closing opportunity. But thinking about it, it was Bo Bichette, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and Justin Turner. Them are all veteran guys now at this point. You've seen the bat that Guerrero has. Bo Bichette's an all-star too. Justin Turner has a great eye at the plate. But I think it could have went either way. Like you were saying, you paid this guy that much amount of money to give you these opportunities to close these games out. Um, it's just one of those days that you just made a pitch that I don't think he was trying to make, but it just happened at the end of the day.
Oh yeah, honestly I have no worries about Josh Hader, especially after that first outing where he did strike out the top, the hard order of the Yankees lineup, and he did his job against the big guys. He just I think got an unlucky break on that end. Like you said, he didn't locate the side the way he wanted to. Wasn't as sharp that day. It happens, but I feel like, for example, I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you. I mean, he could go either way. That's just the beauty of the Astros. Back in the bullpen, honestly, you could even throw Abreu in there too. Like, I'm just it's really great. But I feel like if Joe Espada would have put Ryan Press in that situation and the same result happens, the dialogue is different. I'm just like,
Yeah.
well, like it's like, what is Joe Espada doing? Why is he not putting his, star closer in? It's just baseball. Sometimes you do everything right until the last pitch, last end. I think at that point, you know, it happens. Again,
Yeah.
I'm not too worried. Josh Hader is still the man in there, still going to get those closing situations, unless he pitches, for example, back-to-back days and he's not available. But when he's available, it's gonna go to him every single time.
Yeah. The part for me was Josh Hader had pitched 3 out of the 4 games against the Yankees. And then obviously Monday was that Blanco no hitter. And then you're going back to him again, which that would be what 4 out of 6 days that you could have, you threw him out there. You maybe could have put Presley, who hasn't pitched in a while. Um, yeah, it could have just gone either way. That was just my thought process about it. It was,
Mhm.
right-handed power going against your right-handed, your best right-handed pitcher. Presley's been in them situations to go against them type of guys, but at the end of the day, you got Josh Hader. Josh Hader does what he can, and we could talk about that first outing too. He gonna wait against what? It was Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, and I won Juan Soto. I want to believe.
Yeah,
So I think it could have gone either way, but at the end of the day, he just missed his location, and obviously that game did not end well for the Astros. Javier Gonzalez, good job, guys. Hope you're feeling better as
yeah.
well.
Hope you're recovering. Speedy.
Yeah.
We wish you a speedy recovery. If you don't know Javier Gonzalez, he covers the Astros for uh, Pelota Cubana, especially my our Cuban followers, Spanish speakers. Go check out his work; really great as well. But let's talk about who's invited to the Carne Asada. Again, this is like a little fun way to name our MVPs of the series, and I kind of like it. It gets everybody involved.
I thought I
Uh,
had my cowboy hat, but I don't.
oh, you don't have it this time. You
Nope,
know
not
what?
today. Not
My
today.
my sombrero's in the car. Yeah, for
Why do you
like for
have a
the wedding.
sombrero in the car? Hold up. Why do you have a sombrero in the car?
It's from my wedding, my charro hat.
Don't tell
It's
me you've
the
had that hat. No, don't tell me you've had that hat since your wedding.
I don't have a place to put it, so
Oh my
it's
god.
in there, and I don't want it to mess up. So it's a perfect. I don't want to
I
mess
mean,
up.
you don't
So
think the sun from this heat in Houston's gonna mess it up?
it's in a little wrap.
Is
You
it
know,
in a bag at least?
it's in a bag. Yes,
Okay,
it's
okay,
obviously yes in a
okay.
bag. But
Exceptional.
let's start with I think I feel like who's bringing the meat is going to be the star of the series, star of the show, just because that's the main course, right? So let's start.
Mhm.
It has to go with the one and only Ronel Blanco. We just summed up his stats. I think he deserved it. You know, fought hard to get to this point, and an eighth career start, first start of the season after moving back and forth from the bullpen starting rotation after some rocky starts, being able to prove his worth there. I think it's perfect, right? I'm gonna go over his stats because again we did kind of go over. He did have obviously no hits, no one runs. He did walk two, 7 strikeouts um in that game, but really good. He's the big star of the show, Ronel Blanco, for that one,
Okay,
well
okay.
deserved.
What's the meat now? You forgot to
And
tell us the
me,
meat.
ooh, you know what? I don't
We had
know.
trompo the last time, I think. Or no,
Did
we had
we?
pastor. Let's go with trompo this time.
It's the same thing.
Oh yeah, it is.
Like, how about let's do some barbacoa tacos this time? Or early
Coming
morning.
coming out of mass on Sunday morning,
Oh
just
yeah.
going to get some barbacoa.
Are you are you
Chef,
like?
chef
I
kiss.
know it's a big thing in San Antonio. Are you a firm believer of a big red in barbacoa?
Yes, yes, I got family in San Antonio, so I believe Big Red and barbacoa go together. Barbacoa tacos as well.
Now, are you a flour tortilla guy or a corn?
I could go both. I could go both.
Mhm.
I do like corn when I eat my menudo,
Of course,
but
yeah.
I exceptionally love flour tortillas.
Just a little background on me. My grandma makes homemade tortillas, flour tortillas, on the daily. So I'm a little biased on that, and so I'll do flowers. I'm a flour guy as well. But speaking of tortillas, who's bringing them? Jordan Alvarez. So he better start going to Tortillas Zacatecas or somewhere, where they sell tortillas. But he had a good series as well. Again, we went over his stats. He had another multi hit, multi home run game. He was a triple shy of the cycle. He had an excellent series, and like you said, he was kind of struggling. And I think today is the day where the big man has finally arrived because this was a really great outing for him. Uh, the salsa. I know I had Jeremy Pena last time. How about another guy who loves some salsa? That's Jose Altuve. He went 4 for 11 this series with 2 home runs and 2 RBIs. Again, really did a great job of being the table setter for that lineup. I felt like when he was on, the whole team was on as well. Who's bringing the beans? Framber Valdez. Again,
Ooh,
good outing. You know what? I wonder what's the difference between
la grasa with some grease on them beans. I see. I
exactly,
see
but
it. I see it.
I wonder. I don't know. They just do black beans. I wonder what's the difference between like Mexican beans and uh Dominican beans.
I don't know.
Saute
It's a
them
good
different, something
question.
like that. I'll ask.
So was that charo? What's the
So
other
there's
one that I'm thinking?
charro beans.
I know, but the other one refried.
Which one? Refried, yeah.
Yep,
I
there it is.
did do a little refried black beans, with a little some cheese on top. But he pitched 7 and 2/3, 6 hits, 5 strikeouts, 0 walks, and again he brought his ERA to 2.19. Another guy who started kind of slow, and now we saw him heat up in this series is Kyle Tucker. He went 5 for 10, 2 home runs. Again, it was I believe his fourth multi. I'm not mistaken, his fourth multi home run game.
I'm not 100% sure. I do
I think
not
it
know
was
that.
I think it was fourth, if I'm not mistaken. And then he had 4 RBIs that game as well. And then lastly, a new addition. I can't believe we forgot this last time. Who's bringing the guacamole in this one?
A
The
mean
walk.
walk. A mean walk. Who is it?
Give me some. And I put this guy's a walk guy. Yanier Diaz. I think. He
Yeah.
hit he hit 500 during the game. but it dropped. He was hitting 500 during the game, but he dropped to 462. But overall, he went 6 for 12, 2 home runs, 2 RBIs, and 1 walk. I think he's doing a really good job of announcing his presence in the catcher role again. You know what? He could honestly be bringing the me too because you know how.
A
Like,
lot of candidates for the meet, honestly.
yeah, like we talked about Ronel Blanco's week. Obviously, a little bit more on the person level, having a new daughter. It was a great story with him, but don't forget Yanir Diaz. He eh, has been tormenting pitching on the plate and then caught a
Mhm.
beautiful game too. You know, for the no hitter as well. So can't leave him out of can't leave him without giving him the credit he is due
I want to say he's leading the American League with hits. I
for
think it was
catchers.
showing, yeah, not just catchers, but the American League in general. I want to say it showed on Space City Home Network on the broadcast, and I believe, but I'm not 100% sure. He's leading the AL with 12 hits so far this season. I mean, he's been swinging the bat. We forgot one more thing with the salsa. I mean, are we green or we red? Team green, team
Ooh,
red. Which one do we like?
I'm green. I'm
I'm
green all
green
the
too.
way.
I'm sorry. I'm green. There's just no way. It depends. The red I do like at Taqueria del Sol, which is a local staple here in Houston.
It hasn't been the
But
same.
I mean, to me, I don't mind it. I still like it. But yeah, I'm a team green guy. Let us know which ones you like, which salsa, which meat.
Oh,
Let
okay.
us know. Let us know.
So he leads the American League in hits. He's actually tied with Quan from the Guardians now.
Okay.
But Mookie Betts leads the major leagues in hits with 16, so he's just 4 hits behind. And just to give a little bit, just to allude to what happened last. So last year, Yanni Diaz had his parents over to watch a game, and like I did an article about him too as well. So I started talking to his parents, and something that his mom, moms know best, like something that she was. If she would have talked to Dusty Baker, some advice would be uh, to put her son into play more. So, as you can see, it worked out.
It's
Oh,
been working out big time for them.
we're talking about salsa. So Joshua Petrez asked about some salsa.
Yeah, chile, salsa, and the spicy stuff you like to put on your tacos, whatever you like to put. We got to get a song going, dude. I mean, I found this on Apple Music, which we did one of these. I want to say
El
back,
mariachi loco.
yeah.
You know what? Let's do it for next time. I like it.
I know,
Oh,
I forgot, but we'll get it next time.
all right, for sure, for sure. But
But
talk to us
that,
about that preview.
yeah, I mean, that is up for who's coming to the Carne Asada. Let's see who's gonna come in the Arlington one. But since we're talking about Arlington, we're going to be talking about that preview against the Texas Rangers, who are 4-2. They did their business over there in Tampa Bay. They did win the series over there. The bad news is for them, they lose Josh Jung to that broken wrist injury. So, and that's the sad part about it for them. But they're playing good baseball still. And let's start out with Friday, 7:10, 7:05 start time. Hunter Brown's on the mound with the 0.00 ERA. And Cody Bradford's going for the Rangers with a 1-0 record with a 3.60 ERA. And Hunter Brown, I mean, he pitched a good, decent game. It's just he did throw a lot of pitches. 4 innings, 4 hits, 0 earned runs, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. It was great to see that. He finished the game with 88 pitches, 58 strikes. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in that aspect. Last year versus Texas, he was pretty successful. He had a 1-1 record, 2.45 ERA. He did pitch 11 innings, only giving up 3 earned runs and striking out 11. So I do think that fastball and that 12-6 Uncle Charlie is going to be working for him against that Texas Rangers lineup. Of course, that lineup is stacked from Marcus Simeon to Corey Seager to, of course, Adolis Garcia, which Astro fans, I don't think they really want to hear about a lot of him, but he's had a good season for them. Them are the only three guys I could think of. Evan Carter's been a little slow. Wyatt Langford's a good guy to keep your eye on the Rangers side. Who else? Jonah Heim's still there. Josh Jung's going to be out, like we said. So it'll be interesting to see how they attack the Rangers lineup. But Bradford on the other side, last start versus the Chicago Cubs, 5 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. Uh, this guy I didn't hear a lot last year, but I did go and dig some research. He was a relieving guy for the Texas Rangers in their bullpen, but then they brought him into a starter role for this season. So he is a left-handed pitcher. He does throw a lot of backdoor curveballs on the low outside part of the plate to righties, of course, low and in against lefties. But most of all, the righties are going to see a lot of curveball mix. And the left against the lefties, he only threw, I want to say, one curve. So not too looking into that with Kyle Tucker, Jordan Alvarez, John Singleton, if he's going to play in this game, things like that. Low 90s fastball, throwing high and inside, middle part of the plate, and then throwing the changeup, which is really interesting because you look like you throw that changeup low and in to righties, but he's staying on that outside corner and he's mixing it up mid to lower part of the zone to the right-handed hitters. So it'll be interesting to see how he's going to mix that curveball, that fastball, and that changeup because most of the time he's going to throw that four seamer and he's going to throw el cambio, the changeup. So
And then I don't know if you noticed, there's been a trend going on, and I mean, I don't know if the Astros had anything to do with it, but I'm sure it was a little influence. But a lot of relief pitchers are becoming starters
yeah,
this year. Like the Giants
Jordan
transition Jordan
Hicks.
Hicks. Like you said, Cody Bradford. Even the White Sox with Garrett Crochet, he was actually their opening day starter. I think he was one of the nine. I think nine pitchers to make his first start on opening day. So it's in Major League history. So, yeah, I think that's a common trend. And I mean, I could be wrong, but I think they actually had a big part of that with guys like JP France starting from the bullpen to the rotation. Ronel Blanco is another example like that. Like, I think again, I'm just spitballing here, but I think that that's a common trend. And I know I'm missing like two more guys that are doing this right now. I just lost their names in my head, but that's a common trend so far.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even think about it until you mentioned it right now. Yeah, like Jordan Hicks, Cruchet, who he did pitch a pretty good game for the White Sox this past his second start. So yeah, I didn't even think about that. So that's a good eye on you. But Saturday's game time, 7, I think it's a 6:10 start time. I didn't even update the times on there.
Yeah.
But the Astros have not yet to announce who's going to be the starting pitcher. There's a possibility it could be JP France with him being on paternity leave. We'll talk about that here in Astros news in a minute. But if it's not going to be JP France, I think it's going to be Brandon Bielak.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
he's always been that guy to be in that like late part. If the Astros needed somebody, Bielak's going to be the guy to go out there and give them some innings and maybe make it into a bullpen game going with Seth Martinez, Taylor Scott. You just don't know. But on the other end, you had John Gray, who has a no decision, 0-0 record, but an ERA over 12.27. Wow. But let's stick with Gray since we don't know what's going to happen on the Astros front end. Well, Gray's last start was against the Cubs. 3-2 innings pitched, 7 hits, 5 earned runs, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts. Going back and looking into his stat line against the Cubs, there was a lot of fastballs and sliders in the middle part of the zone. If he continues doing that against the Astros, my gosh, I think Jordan Alvarez is going to have another multi-homer game following with Kyle Tucker. So fastball was down a tick as well. He's lost a little bit of velocity on his four-seamer as well as the slider as well. He didn't lose a lot of miles per hour on the slider, but did lose some spin rate on it. It was a 23.83 spin rate. I think it's RPMs, revolutions per mile. I don't know, something like that.
Per minute.
Per minute, which is weird. Why would it be per minute if the ball's going per second? Interesting. We don't know. But 23.83, it dropped to 23.01. So it's not a big drastic spin off, but I mean, it's still a little spin that maybe it does help him, maybe it doesn't. So just to keep an eye on that on his next outing. Real quick, I guess with France, if it is going to be France, he did pitch 5 2/3 against the Yankees. I believe he gave up 2 or 3 runs as well. Don't have the stat line in front of me, but if he's going to continue doing that same thing with the fastball, curve, and change mix, my gosh, continue doing it. Just keep it on the ground. If you're JP France.
Yeah.
Ronel Blanco. Oh, you got anything to add on?
No, but I think. Oh yeah, I was gonna say, there's a high chance it could be JP France. I don't know how long he wants to be away from the team. Obviously it's a big moment having a child, but they're fortunate that they're going to Arlington, so he could easily book, hop in his truck or his car real quick, busted down to Dallas in time for the start. So I think that's the fortunate part. I wouldn't be surprised if JP France does start this game, but I do agree with you that Brandon Bielek is the next man up, especially since they um, caught up with Dylan Coleman, so they added another arm to the bullpen as well. So
Which Dylan Coleman did see some time today on the mound. The command still a little iffy, but of course you continue to work with it, especially when the Astros have an 8-0 lead. By all means, just work your mix and try to figure it out because that guy has a lot of potential to be in the Astros bullpen this year. But moving on to Sunday, Ronel Blanco is on the mound for the Astros. Of course, we know that record and that ERA 1-0. He'll be going against Dane Dunning on the other hand, 1-0 with a 4.26 ERA. And Blanco, we've talked about it before. We're not going to go too deep into him. His stat against the Blue Jays, no hitter. Don't have to go through it. But the only thing I got to say is continue pounding that zone and keep utilizing that fastball and changeup mix because, like you were saying, the changeup was working. El Cambio was going. It was moving. I think that's going to be his bread and butter if he's going to continue seeing success in his starting rotation.
yeah, this is gonna be an interesting start for Blanco because, like you said, it was either a no hitter, right? But now teams know what are going to be expecting that change up. Now teams are going to be looking for have a keen eye for it. So obviously, I'm sure he's still on that high that he just accomplished what he did. So I think at this point, before that starts, he needs to throw that away, pretend like it didn't happen, and just continue doing it. I mean, I'm not going to say we'll see. Like I'm sure the game's gonna be mixed up a little bit. We'll still see that change up a lot, but I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to sneak in the slider a little bit more to get guys out, or just blow by people with the fastball just because they know that change up is in their back of their mind.
I wonder too. Do you think the other pitching coaches, like when they do film on trying to figure out a pitcher for the hitters, you think the pitching coach tries to say something like, well, this guy likes to throw this and this and this count.
Yeah, I'm
In this
sure, absolutely,
scenario with runners in scoring position, he might go to this pitch. Because Greg Maddox over there, or not Greg, Mike Maddox, the Rangers pitching coach, he's one of the best pitching coaches in the game. So
absolutely,
he
absolutely.
might
I'm
have a
sure.
little thing up their sleeve.
I'm sure those conversations come up. I don't think the Rangers hit that great that good if those conversations don't come up. So I think so.
Yeah, so we'll have to see with that. Real quick with Dunning, his last start against Tampa Bay, 6 1/3, 3 hits, 3 earned runs, 4 walks, 7 strikeouts. The Astros, I think from all the pitchers that we're naming right now, they have seen Dane Dunning in a Texas Rangers uniform for a very long time. And they found, moderate to a lot of success against him, I would say, in 7 appearances. Dunning has a 0-2 record against them with a 5.46 ERA and has given up 18 earned runs. So it'll be interesting to see how the Astros game plan goes into that mix with him. Of course, they've seen a bunch of him. I don't know which players have the best outcome against a guy like that, but you never know. In the offseason, he could have fixed some stuff and he could be a different pitcher compared from the previous years that he's pitched for them. Last but not least, on Mondays, which is very interesting because you hardly have a 4-game series and end it on a Monday. But this series is that, and of course, like Angel said, the drive to Dallas is not that far. But Monday, you got Framber Valdez on the bump with a 0-0 record, 2.19 ERA. He'll be going against Andrew Heaney, 0-1 record with a 1.93 ERA. And we talked about with Framber Valdez being able to continue doing what he did against the Toronto Blue Jays, which I think he's found a lot of success. And, from the previous years as well, we've talked about it. Framber Valdez is a guy that's going to give you that ground ball. The ground ball percentage is going to be high as well. Real quick, for the ground ball percentage in double plays, the Yankees, he was able to get 3 double plays. Against the Blue Jays, he was able to get 2 double plays. In that Toronto game as well, he induced 15 ground balls. So as long as you continue doing that, keeping the ball on the ground, letting your defense behind you, work for you, there shouldn't be no problem for Framber in this game against the Rangers.
Yeah, and speaking of watching film, I think just like you said that the Astros have seen Dane Dunning a lot, on the other side of the dugout. So have the Rangers have seen a ton of Framber Valdez. So I think the key for him is to control that sinker early. And I mean, like they know it's coming, but if you have sometimes a great sinker is just an unhittable pitch at times, especially mixing in with that curveball. So if he can, and again, like he had that issue with the Yankees where that sinker would run a lot. Kind of fixed it a little bit with the against the Toronto Blue Jays. So I think that sinker is gonna be a key for this series against the Rangers.
It's going to be an interesting series for him as well. Of course, back then in that, I don't want to say a rivalry or even a beef, I would say either with Marcus Simeon. He got hit. Simeon took him deep. He stared him down, and then all that, orchestrated in the home play with Maldi and all that stuff. But being able to control your emotions, I would say, in this game, especially in this type of environment at Globe Life Field, it's going to be your first time over there since Game 5 of the ALCS. Being able to control your emotions, that's going to be a huge part, I would say, for Framber Valdez if he's going to have success on that bump against the Rangers. And then to finish off, like I said, with Andrew Heaney, last started against the Tampa Bay Rays, 4 2/3, 4 hits, 1 earned run, no walks, 7 strikeouts. I did want to dive a little bit deeper into his arsenal. The biggest thing you're going to see from him is the 4-seamer and a slider. Last year, it was up to. So far in this one game that he pitched, it's down 2 miles per hour. So I don't know if it's going to be trending down, but something to look at. Fastball was a success for him in his start as he has given up no hits, no runs, no RBIs, nothing. Opponent batting average against the fastball against him is a 0. So the Astro hitters, specifically Jose Abreu, who's been struggling to catch up to the 4-seamer, I'm expecting something from him because Andrew Heaney does not throw the 4-seam at like a high 95, high 94 miles per hour pitch. It's like a low 90s fastball. You're looking at 90 to 93 averaging. So it'll be interesting with the matchups here, how the Astros and Rangers, quote unquote, I guess you can say rivalry is going to go. Like I said, the Astros haven't made it to Globe Life Field since Game 5 of the ALCS, and I know Rangers fans, Rangers, the players themselves have that bitter taste in their mouth leaving that game. But of course, they did end up winning the World Series. But I think it's going to be a fun one for both teams, especially the adrenaline, the excitement in that ballpark.
Yeah, I think the battle of the silver boot has always been there, but I think now it's a time where, I feel like before it was either the Astros were good but the Rangers were not, or the Rangers were good but the Astros were not. And I think these last few years, like both teams are, I think, at the top that they ever been. So, I think that brings this Lone Star battle even a lot more hype. Again, tickets. I don't know, if Astros fans are traveling, which I'm sure they were. I'm sure everything's going to be up. Tickets, tar parking, just because of that anticipation that this series brings. But, and the Astros are usually a great fastball hitting team, so it caught me off guard when you were telling me yesterday that Jose Abreu was getting struck out by fastballs consistently. So I was, I kind of gave you a double take, like a pro, but no, yeah. So I think Jose Abreu is another one that's struggling. I think once he gets right with that fastball, gets his timing out the way. Again, he's batting back issues. So I think when you're batting back issues, I'm sure that's always in the back of your mind. So I think he's just thinking too much, getting a little blown away by that. But he's working on it. When we see him in a clubhouse, guess what he's doing? Watching film. I think he's one of the guys that I've seen the most watch film in the clubhouse and every other guy. I mean, I'm sure they're doing it too, but that tells me he's hungry to return back to form. He's not satisfied with his production. I'm sure great things start to happen for Jose Abreu.
Yeah, not to mention real quick too. I mean, he's gonna have 2 days off. He didn't play Wednesday. Excuse me. The Thursday is a off day for the team, so he's gonna have 2 days off to recover, to relax. He did work with Pilates this offseason too, so that might be another thing for him. But too, like you were mentioning with back issues and stuff like that, his age as well. He's not 20 something years old like he was when he won his Rookie of the Year. Not the same as he was as in 2020 American League MVP. It's just a different time for Jose Abreu. I think for me, looking at him is just being patient to see how he comes out. Like we said, this is what, game number 7, game number 8 in the book. There's still a lot of baseball left. There's nothing to judge over a player, is nothing to judge over a team just from 8 games, 7 games, 8 games. I don't even know how many games they played so far right now, but being able to just just like you said, I mean, he's watched film. You've seen him on the field too, taking batting practice. He's working on something. He's not going to just go over there and just not do nothing. The guy's actually trying to do something and put in the work to perform for his team, because I know he didn't like that feeling of having a zero batting average coming into the Blue Jay series and finally getting that first hit. So he's working on something. It's just, like I said, something to be patient if you're an Astros fan, for him to get going.
Absolutely. But, you know, that was a great recap, great preview. Let's talk about Astros news, what's up to date. So let's start with injury news. I think this is obviously you don't want injuries to happen, but when an injury does happen to people are like, when are they coming back? So Justin Verlander, on Tuesday, Verlander was set to throw a bullpen on Thursday and should be set to go for his first major league rehab. So I think the rehab should be coming this Sunday when the Sugarland Space Cowboys are in Sugarland, because I think they travel after that. Espada also said if everything goes well, the Astros believe JB could make 2 more rehab starts and then later join the rotation. So this was expected for Verlander, and like I know he's been throwing. He's trying to get his feel back, but he's been feeling good. So I think both the Astros knew and Justin Verlander knew that a rehab start was needed. But good news for there, because it can be quickly. He can be quickly coming back. On Tuesday, Urquidy played catch and told Espada he was feeling pretty good. But again, I think that's another guy you want to be patient with and not rush too back. I wouldn't be surprised if a few rehab starts are in his future as well, just to make sure he gets right. I think the timing of the injury as well. I know it was in spring training. He threw, he was getting going, and all of a sudden his shoulder pains, that forearm strain started coming in. So I'm sure they're monitoring that closely as well.
Yeah,
And we have,
with
go
Verlander,
ahead.
real quick, I don't project him to start maybe the home series against Atlanta,
You think so?
or yeah, I think either that series or when they travel to, what's the next road? I think they travel after that Brave series. I don't know where,
I'm
but
checking.
either the Braves or the next road series, I'd say, for the Astros to put Verlander on the mound. What I'm interested to see too, real quick, if they're going to go to a 6-man rotation when he joins, and I think that should be the smart move for the Astros, just considering that Verlander is still getting back into the form, into being able to have them extra rest days for him.
Yeah, I didn't think about that because it's. I mean, I would say it depends on the Ronel Blanco's upcoming starts. Again, yes, we know what he did. It's great, but they still got more games to win, right? So I think if Ronel Blanco is still on this trend where he's continuing getting guys out, pitching great, I can see a 6-man rotation, especially to save, like you said, to kind of save the pitches and Justin Verlander's arm. But I wouldn't be surprised if they move Ronel Blanco or JP France to the bullpen, just because. I mean, I'm not saying they didn't do well enough on the mound, but you saw how taxed that bullpen was in the first series of like of the season. So I think it just depends how it plays out. If the Astros continue to have starts where guys are going 6 strong, 7 strong, I think absolutely 6-man rotation. But if you're seeing pitchers go 4, go 5, barely struggling to make it 5, where that bullpen's very needed, then I wouldn't be surprised if temporarily one of
Mhm.
those guys goes to the bullpen.
Dude, the start rotation right now for them is doing great. The last time they have allowed to run a starter, you got to go back to JP France in that Yankee series.
Oh wow!
Blanco 0, Javier 0,
Yeah.
Framber Valdez 0.
But Javier really had to work for that one.
Yeah, he
He had
did.
one hit. I think what 4 or 5 walks.
5 walks, so almost tying a career high. I think
Yeah.
6 is his career high in walks, but it's a strong start. I think they lead the American League 2 in ERA as a starting rotation, so that's a great sign. The only bad side about the Astros is the bullpen right now. I think they're like bottom 3 of ERA. I think they have like a 7 or 8 ERA, obviously from all the guys in the bullpen, but it's a good start for the starting rotation, I would say.
No, absolutely. And the Astros are actually no, yeah. So they're up there for ERA. You're right.
Shout out to you, gentlemen. Keep up the amazing work, fire content. Appreciate the Just Fans podcast. And of course, Joshua, how are you guys doing? We're doing great. We're doing
Absolutely, yeah.
fantastic. Yeah, we're
W-
doing great. Simple
Yeah,
as that.
yeah, we're actually getting ready to go to Arlington. Zoe and I are going
Yeah.
to be covering that series as well. So look out for some amazing work on that end. We do have some roster moves to tell you all about as well. And again, I actually think I kind of mentioned this earlier already. JP France was placed on a paternity list, so Dylan Coleman was brought up from AAA Sugarland, and JP France, we're glad that he had a healthy, strong baby girl. The Francis welcome baby girl today. Her name is Remington Grace, is her name. So shout out to them.
Shout out to them.
Wish them all the best, and you know, it's an amazing sight.
Dad Strength 2.0 coming in strong
Yeah,
for
I,
JP
I
France,
I mean, you saw what it did to Jalen Green over there with
which
the
is
Rockets.
crazy. Which, before we get to around the horn, the Texans making that move,
Oh yeah,
getting Stephon Diggs from the Bills. If you're a Houston Texas fan, this is an exciting time to be right now.
yeah. I had
Because
to rub
after all those years of maybe combining wins of like 5, you got to be excited for the future of this franchise.
man. I still remember when the Texans gave Brock Osweiler that enormous contract.
Remember Tom Savage being the guy to lead us to the playoffs.
I forgot about him. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Speaking of too, real quick, just fans. Nick Casario cooked. Yes, yeah, he did. Yeah, dude, that offense is sick. That
Yeah,
offense.
but don't forget about that defense too. With D'Amico
I think it's
Ryan's,
a sleeper. It's a sleeper.
yeah. Don't forget about
So
that defense. It's pretty good. I think the addition of Daniel Hunter really put the nail in the coffin for that one. But yeah, it'll be a scary defense, especially like you saw what CJ Stroud did with limited weapons. And I'm not saying Nico Collins is scrub or anything. Like he's really good, but he
he
just
said
got
he's
in.
a scrub.
I said he's not. I'm not saying he's.
Oh, I know. I
He's
know.
not. But you know, all I know is that CJ Stroud is sleeping better at night now, knowing that you know he just got some great additions.
You forgot Will Anderson Jr. Like they said, will feed families. Wow, it's gonna be crazy from both sides of the ends. Going after them, and then not even to mention the uniforms are going to be coming out soon. I think they're supposed to be announcing them late April.
Oh yeah,
So
the white ones were okay. The white ones were okay. Like
be
the
interested
ones that
how
leaked.
all the other ones turn out.
Yeah, the ones that leaked. But all right, let's get these people home. So let's go to around the horn. I know I know most of them gotta either get ready for that drive to Arlington or go to work tomorrow. But so let's go to around the horn. Rangers. Again, we kind of mentioned this again. Rangers all start their baseman out. Um, Phil Maton hit third baseman Josh Jung in the wrist, causing him to need surgery. Now, at first, they were being hopeful and said he'll only be out for 6 weeks, but after the doctor did the procedure, looked at the injury, he said it was more severe than he had originally thought. So now the timetable got expanded back from 8 to 10 weeks on that. So it's a big hit for the Rangers, but I think they'll be fine. I think they have like enough guys to, I'm not saying replace Junk, but to fill his role in the meantime. I think White Langford, if I'm not mistaken, I know he's been DH, but I think he can play third base as well. So no, outfielder.
Outfielder and catcher. We talked about this, baby.
We
The
did talk
catching,
about this.
which I really did
That's
not
what
think it was
that's
a
what it
catcher.
was. That's what it was. That's what it was. I knew it was another position.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I think that'll be fine. Uh, I think I think his bat will be missed, but I'm sure they have weapons.
Which is crazy though too, because they called up their number 5 prospect in their farm system. His name is Justin Foscue or
Something like
Foscue,
that.
something like that. They're bringing out their prospects already at this time. Wyatt Langford making his debut. This guy's about to make his debut. You saw Evan Carter make his debut last year. So they're all win mode right now. No, they're not waiting. They're going like basically. It's kind of like thinking back of the Astros, 2014 when they brought in George Springer, then they brought up Carlos Correa, then they brought up Alex Bregman. So they're still in an all win mode. which their team is still good. They're not to even mention Scherzer's still on the IL, and then you got DeGrom that's probably going to be coming this year for the Rangers.
Yeah, I think the Orioles need to take a little glimpse of the Rangers and how they handle their farm system, because I don't know if you saw, but their AAA team put up I think 25 points,
Almost a
and
football score.
Kersen had 10 RBIs that game.
Imagine completing a top like a task like that on MLB The Show, because MLB The Show have these like little moments that hit 2 hits, hit a home run, and 4 RBIs. Imagine that 10 RBIs, and I think he had 2 home runs. I want to say two.
Did he?
I want to say, but since we're still on that topic and you're researching the stat line,
Yeah.
they need to bring up Jackson Holiday. Jackson Holiday is
Oh yeah.
destroying the ball in AAA, and I think he'd be a valuable asset for that Baby Birds team over there in Baltimore.
All right. So it was 26-11.
That sounds like a football score.
Exactly. So let me see. Kersen did have 2 home runs in the game. Uh, even Stowers had 3 home runs in the game, and this guy Stowers has 7 RBIs. So look, Stowers has 7 RBIs. Kersen had 10 RBIs. Jackson Holiday had 4 hits. This guy, last name Mayo, had 5 hits along with Kersen as well. It's just, you know, I'm sure, I'm sure things are fun over there in in the Norfolk Tides, but some of them I think are ready for the show.
That stat line is just amazing. But the talent that Baltimore already has, though, too, it is just remarkable what they have and being able to continue to sustain that. I would say too.
Yeah, I mean, look out. I think I think that AL East is gonna run through Baltimore for a few years after
Yeah.
like with that lineup. But just to finish that off, we had the players of the week were announced. Lourdes Gurriel from Arizona won the award, and I'm sure the Astros fans are familiar with Juan Soto. After he had a great performance against them, he won the AL Player of the Week, which is really nice because he just came back. He switched from NL to AL, and in his first week, he's already winning Player of the Week. So I'm sure more to come for that.
Definitely. But let's get the last comments on here. Hoping for a Texan Super Bowl victory next year. Possible. I would say it's not in doubt. I think it's very possible that they can. And then Just Fans gave us the date. April 23rd is when the Houston Texans will put out their new uniforms. And I'm very intrigued to see what they have. I'm pretty sure they still got to. I don't think they're going to go with a deep steel blue, but it'd still be some type of navy blue. It'll still be some type of battle red, but I don't think they're going to be called them names no more. It's going to be a red, a blue. Be on the lookout for a powder blue, a baby
The
powder
Oilers
blue.
colors.
I do say I don't. I do think it's going to happen. I do
I can
think
see it.
I can
Uh,
see it too.
Did imagine the Tennessee Titans and the Houston Texans both
Or
for
the
their
same
powder.
color. Or change that helmet in the locker room. Shoot.
No, but I don't know if you saw, but I saw on Twitter that someone posted Stephon Diggs. You know how when he lost the Super Bowl, like the Super Bowl, or like the championship, he was just like saying on the field while watching the celebrated. Someone put that, but in a Texas uniform, and put Stephon Diggs next to you.
Oh man, football season needs to come because it's going to be a special time in Houston. Football is back in Houston. Which what I think that song that's what it's called. That football feeling or something like that shit. But real quick, El Compa, great show, Just Fans Pod recommended us great Astros channel and he subscribed. Angel, we have
Appreciate
89
that.
subscribers now. We
Awesome.
need to make it to 100, man.
You
We,
know
we need
what?
that triple digits.
You
We
know
need them
what?
triple digits.
I feel like if we get to 100 subscribers, I think that deserves a giveaway.
That does deserve a giveaway. Shout out to, I think her name was Yenny, who won the Framber Valdez. We forgot to shout her out in that last episode, but shout out to her as she won the Framber Valdez Quality Star. But like Angel said, maybe we get to 100. I know on Twitter we're at like 27. We're getting close to 2,800. Love to get at that 3,000 number. If we could get to them numbers, giveaways all around. We'll make sure to make that happen. But Angel, you got anything before we sign off, my man?
No, I just appreciate y'all the support again. Thanks for hearing us out. I know it's we're on for an hour, so Yeah, well, thank you for taking the time to time of your day to hear us out. We appreciate the support. Like as compa said, they were recommended, so y'all tell your friends, tell your baby mamas, baby daddies, whoever you don't talk to anymore. Go tell them.
This man
Go,
said baby mamas, baby daddies. My gosh. But yeah,
go, go,
yeah,
go tell
we're
people.
yeah, we're the guys for this Astros podcast. We're gonna give you all the content. We're gonna give you all the work, the articles, the media, all that stuff. We're gonna continue working hard and doing that. Make sure you get the best Astros coverage throughout the season. But until then, like Angel said, we'll be traveling to Arlington, catch that series against the Astros and Rangers, and do some work and do our content and things like that. But until then, maybe we'll do a live show over there. We'll never know. But just keep your eyes out. Subscribe, like El Compa said. But have a great rest of your weekend if we don't talk to you. And we'll talk to you at the end.
Peace.